You are now tuned into the Low Key Thriving podcast. We're creating a space for growth, prosperity, and wholeness through a multidimensional approach is our thing. So stay locked in. I have a lot in store for you. Hey, Low Key Thriving family. Guys, I'm so excited about this episode. As I promised, the financial wellness series, I definitely wanted to bring guests that can really enrich the conversation and really bring you guys the information that I may not have, but they definitely can. And I have my special guest, Rob Boyd from WealthBuilders here. Rob, without further ado, hey, tell us a little bit about you.
All right, no, thank you, Lauren. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you for the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
I am present day a financial education specialist. That's what I call myself at this point. But a little bit about me and my background, how we even got here. In life, I think I've always had this subconscious curiosity about money. Didn't always know about it, didn't always understand how it worked, how to grow it, how to use it. But I learned that throughout life, just with some curiosities that started when I was younger, being that when I was elementary age, my mom worked in a bank. She was a bank teller and ultimately bank manager for a little bit, actually for a black bank and a black-owned bank. And one of the things I remember is even though she worked at a bank, we never really had a lot of money. I never really understood. She was a single parent for most of my childhood. I was the only child until my brother came along. And I just was that little kid that was always either counting pennies and nickels when I had to go to work with her. And I always just had this general curiosity with it because I think it was around. Like, I think just the proximity of seeing money and seeing a vault. And even though I was 8, 9 years old and didn't really understand it all, it's like just seeing that stuff created a curiosity that ultimately I went on to college and went to Howard University, was afforded that opportunity partially by basketball. And that really kind of kept me on the straight and narrow to even get to college. Howard was the one and only school that I ever applied to. And I happened to get in. If I didn't, I don't even know if I would have went to college. But then in college, though, I think that's where it all started. That's where it all came together. I met who is now business partner Ashley Fox. We started the community together.
Mm-hmm.
So we had economics and finance classes together. We just became good friends. I helped her through econ class because some stuff that she wasn't understanding. To me, she was a smart one, right? She had the 4.0, but I was the one who knew everything. I didn't understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at least not in economics class, not on all our classes.
Yeah.
And at that point, I realized like I kind of knew this stuff, and I didn't even know that I knew this stuff or understood it. And I decided like, okay, this is something that naturally comes to me. Let me really pursue this. And at that point, it was a minor. I turned it into a major, it was an economics major, and came out of school and had a lot of opportunities to just learn in the financial world because at the point where I graduated college, we're in the middle of the Great Recession from 2008, 2009, 2010.
Right.
And so I was in high demand.
Mm-hmm.
So I came out with job offers and great opportunities because there were people that not necessarily look like me, but that could think the way I could think, that could help fix the issue at hand. I think that timing was very important. There's this book called The Outliers that I really live by that talks about the timing of when you come into certain opportunities. And that led to a professional life as far as me as an adult. It led to a professional life in which I've been able to meet multimillionaires and billionaires, learn from them, understand money from their perspective, kind of see their journey from starting from nothing and humble beginnings as well to become super successful businessmen and learn from them. And I just got to a point where I wanted to kind of follow in the same footsteps as far as just the growth I saw in my own life and realized that, yeah, I could do a lot for myself based on what I knew financially and about the financial world and financial services and economics and finance, investing, and all those things that I worked with 9 to 5 every single day. But I more so wanted to be someone that I didn't just solely benefit, that everybody that I knew growing up that just I knew didn't have this information. I knew this wasn't readily accessible. I wanted to figure out a way that I could have a helping hand in making those pieces of information and access more prevalent in the Black community. And I went from financial services and financial research and being an analyst and kind of moved over to educating people on the things I had learned or been exposed to that I knew most of our community just didn't get. Because I just knew, growing up in the inner city, just loving sports or thinking about, all right, I'm either going to rap my way or hoop my way out the hood. That was
a reality.
That was life. That was life.
Yeah.
No, I ain't, like, that was my life. I thought I was going to hoop my way out the hood. Even though I could kind of do both, I was like, all right, I got to use this 6'4" for something.
Okay.
And so I played basketball, which kept me out of a lot of trouble and kept me focused and gave me a lot of the skills I use today as far as leadership skills, things that you just don't know you're learning from sports. And so now today, like with all those things put together, I'm just really all about sharing it.
Wow, that's amazing. So you kind of went ahead and helped answer my next question. Just how had that journey shaped you and who you are today? And I feel like, you know, it made you more of a leader and it gave you life skills that could carry you for many years to come. So could you expand on that a little bit more? How has this journey shaped you as Rob 2020?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the journey has shaped me because as I've gotten older, and not only up until this point, but the year 2020 itself, I've just grown a greater appreciation for being a beacon of light and hope and positivity rather than kind of being at the mercy of our experiences and our circumstances. Like, it's easy to say, okay, this is what it is, and I just got to live with it. That's easy. The hard part is doing the things to change your circumstances and situations. Just going through life and just seeing what's happened to people that I love that's kind of gone through life alongside of me. And some of the pitfalls and things that have affected them. I just wanted to put myself in a space where those things didn't have as much of an effect on me in relation to some of the things that affected my friends growing up, like whether it's incarceration, gun violence, gang violence, all those things that unfortunately are sometimes very prevalent in our community. And I just wanted something different. And I don't know why, I just wanted something different. And to be honest, a lot of people when I was growing up realized there was something different about me, in which they kept me from being a part of certain things. Like, I had friends and homeboys like, oh, no, Rob, you play basketball, you smart. Like, don't do this. Like, this is what we do. This is not what you do type thing.
Sit out on this one, bro.
Yeah.
And protecting you.
And I really, like, in the moment, I kind of got it. But now looking back, man, like, they had foresight that I didn't even have. You know, like, they saw something different in me that I didn't even really see that clearly. And unfortunately, some of them are gone at this point. And so that knowing that they're gone and either no longer here or incarcerated, I feel as though I have a responsibility to continue to live out my life and my journey, because there's a lot of other people that made sacrifices around me for me to even be here today.
That's important, you know, whether it's friends or family members, grandparents. I feel like we all had a little bit of that, you know. I definitely feel like, you know, I got some life lessons from my elders as well. Maybe not from friends, you know, I didn't have the same story, but I definitely, you know, somebody was out there praying for me and making sure I stayed on the straight and narrow always. So yes, I think we all can relate to that. So what made you want to start teaching others about stocks? That takes a certain type of passion and personality.
I think I've always been a disruptor. Like, I was always that person that always challenged the status quo. Like, I always was like, why is this like this? Like, nah, F that. Like, we can do something different. We can do something better.
Hey, y'all, what's up? Liking what you're hearing so far on the LKT podcast? Be sure to follow us on social media at LKT Podcast, or you can check out my website at www.lktpodcast.com. Be sure to leave a comment or sign up in the email subscription box, or you can also send me any of your ideas on topics you want to hear in the future. I have a lot in store for you, a lot of things that you want to hear. So don't mind mixing in some good ideas on juicy topics in between there. So be sure to check it out.
In today's world, I think you and I would agree or probably assume that what the status quo is as far as our community financially.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just got to challenge the status quo. I had a conversation with myself, like, Rob, like, what do you want to wake up every day and work on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you got to wake up every day and do something productive. What would that thing be? And it was like, I want to wake up every day and make sure Black people get their power back financially. As far as things that I know I could contribute to, that's one of the things I think I can contribute to. When I thought about what's the best way to do that, this is the thing, and I will give myself this credit. This is the thing I think that set it apart, man. This just came to me. When I had an opportunity to decide what I was going to do with my life, I was like, hold on. If I really am going to do this on my terms, but we're going to do this on my terms, then I'm going to do it in a way that I feel authentic and that I feel effective. And that's not necessarily always being in a suit and tie as the financial world asks me, but me coming in a hoodie and giving you the same information.
Yeah.
Because I know me being in a hoodie makes you more comfortable.
Yeah.
Rather than me showing up in a suit and tie and you feeling as though he's too polished for me to believe that I can do what he's telling me to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's telling me to do those things and he's wearing a hoodie that I got on too right now, then maybe I should do what he's talking about because I can relate to him.
Yeah.
He looked like me, literally.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Some of the small things that I think I really made a commitment to personally. Life kind of pulled me away from that for a minute. To be honest, like going to college and having that experience and getting into corporate America, I thought I had to wear the suit and tie to get someone's attention. I thought my value was in what I was wearing. And then I'm like, hold on, no, like what I'm wearing didn't help me survive the hood.
Right.
Like there's more greatness to me than my general appearance, where I realized like, okay, I don't have to play that part to be impactful. And I can play a part that feels more natural to me, which is also going to attract more people that feel like they can make the changes for themselves based on the fact that I am a living example. I don't just teach finance, y'all. Like I've lived this transition that I'm now trying to help others embody for themselves. To have a great credit score, but not have a lot of money in your bank account and be confused because you thought you did it right. Mm-hmm. Like I know what that feels like. And I know how to pivot from that to be in a position where, now I'm actually really working on not having to work the rest of my life, because before I just had the wrong formula. So I think teaching what I've been exposed to in the most natural, authentic way is what I wake up to do every day. Mm-hmm. When I think about the platform that makes that possible, it had to be created because it didn't already exist, which is why we created WealthBuilders, because there was no place that had what I needed to have in order to be me. So you just had to make it. Mm-hmm. That's what happened.
And to kind of like sidebar, you've paid off all your student loans, correct? If I remember my memory.
I'm still working on undergrad.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, if my memory serves me correct, you were one of the few people that I know in my entire life that paid off their student loans. So that's something.
Yeah, the Georgetown stuff is non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm still chipping away at my Howard bill.
Right.
Which, think about it, you brought up a great point. And just to kind of cap off this question, at 18 going into Howard, I wasn't financially literate. And I needed debt to get an education. Mm-hmm. By the time I was 23, 24 and knew what the heck was going on, I'm going to invest to create the money to pay for my education so I don't go into more debt.
Right.
Now, as that was happening, I was starting a business. I left corporate America. I had a lot of other things I had to put focus on that I couldn't immediately at that point in time use that same formula to pay off my undergrad because I had a lot of other plates I was spinning at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we kind of got some things situated and business-wise, like a lot of things are just in place, I can get back and shifting my focus back to, all right, let me go back and knock out this undergrad debt. And I've given myself, just so you know, and I hold myself accountable, I've given myself till March of 2021 to pay off the rest of my student loan debt. So I got about 6 months.
Wow.
Just FYI, just so y'all know what I'm working with now. As far as undergrad, what I got left, I got like 48 left.
Wow, Rob, that's impressive.
And if y'all don't know, Howard cost when I went to Howard, it was about $35 a year.
Yeah.
And I went in with nothing, y'all. So y'all can kind of have an idea what the number I started at was.
Howard is private, right? Like
yeah, Howard's private.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why it's $35,000 a year.
Yeah.
But at the moment, when I look at it like this, it's like right now, I'm trying to pay off like basically like a year and a half worth of college, based on how much it cost when I went. So I'm on a home stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But I gave myself 6 months to do that. Now that I can put some more energy and time into focusing on that, because I was, to be honest, wanting to make sure entrepreneurially things came together that would give me the ability to pay off that amount that quickly. So that's kind of where we are now.
Wow. That's impressive. I brought that up because I was like, if anybody got the cheat codes, it's Rob. Because, I mean, pay that off, that's a feat within its own. So it's a challenge. I think we all live it and we share it. But I think we all just have to make a plan to get rid of the ball and chain that's called debt. Because once you get rid of the bills, it's like, oh, now this is what life is supposed to be like. Now I feel like I actually make some money because I'm not paying bills every time I get a paycheck. Right. So for those who don't know what your platform is about, can you explain to me what WealthBuilders is?
For sure. WealthBuilders is an online community that is also app-based. And it's a collection of a couple different dynamics that we wanted to bring together to help especially beginner investors, but also those just looking to build wealth and create a legacy. And the three main, pillars, I would say that really describe what the WealthBuilders community is. One, there's a collection of financial education courses, right? Where we have things where we talk about employee retirement plans, so you can kind of get an idea of what your 401k is about. Or learning how to invest on your own with a brokerage account, investing in individual, for instance, certain types of accounts that may have more tax benefits than others, or different types of investments that may be common in the investing world, but not necessarily common to certain communities. We have classes, a collection of classes that is always growing. And it's pretty much become a catalog and library of courses that's growing, that's accessible 24/7. Mm-hmm. But then there's also kind of like a social media dynamic in which we wanted to make sure that like-minded people that look like you and I had an opportunity and a safe, private space to talk about whether it's finances, entrepreneurial endeavors, even social injustice and things of that manner, group economics, how to really start to lead the way with some of those tactics that may be able to improve our communities, and really have a space to just talk about those things, whether it's not on Front Street on Twitter, where everybody can see it. It might be an uncomfortable conversation knowing that anybody can kind of look at it. But then lastly, the third dynamic that I think I know we're not only covering now, but will better be able to provide a platform for it is, or get better at their business from getting connected with other people that may be in the same industry, or may be a business partner that they do something that tremendously complements business or the thing that you do, or learning how to grow a side hustle. Some of the things that are looked at as more entrepreneurial.
Hey y'all, what's up? Liking what you're hearing so far on the LKT podcast? Be sure to follow us on social media at LKT Podcast, or You can check out my website at www.lktpodcast.com. Be sure to leave a comment or sign up in the email subscription box, or you can also send me any of your ideas on topics you want to hear in the future. I have a lot in store for you, a lot of things that you want to hear. So don't mind mixing in some good ideas on juicy topics in between there. So be sure to check it out.
But really can help when it comes to generating income, generating financial resources that you could ultimately use to start or create generational wealth with. And that's really the third thing. So there's an education dynamic. There's a dynamic around increasing your income, becoming more entrepreneurial, leveraging those side hustles, and then also a community effect in relation to more of social media dynamics where you can talk to like-minded people that are all over this world, not just the country, but literally we have members from different countries that are sharing their stories, sharing their perspective, which everybody in the community is learning from. So it's really a collective space to get better at economic empowerment. That's really what it generally is about holistically, is economic empowerment and making sure we have the tools and resources to create a bigger momentum for ourselves.
Yeah. I'm definitely on that entrepreneurial journey now. As I shared with you, this is my part to share some knowledge on financial wellness and put that information out there, because for some, it is Twitter to gain access to this information, right, or Instagram. They don't quite know how to find it, how to get access to it other than a Google search. So I definitely wanted to dig deeper into certain topics to where it said, hey, here's the information you're looking for and this is how you can find it. So yes, I can definitely agree to that. So, we're hearing so many good things about Wealth Builders. I can sing all his praises and I've learned so much from you guys. Where can we find Wealth Builders? How can we join?
That's actually the best question to ask right now, based on kind of where we are in the process. So you can find the Wealth Builders Community. Well, you can find the app. Let me start with the app itself.
Yes, the app.
So you can find it in the App Store or the Google Play Store if you have an Android. It's simply Wealth Builders. They'll come up and you can download the app right then and there. But in order to get in, it's a little bit of a different story to get in at the moment, but it will quickly change where we will be completely open to the general public as of October 1st. Wow. So you can download the app, create a profile, and join the community as someone from the general public, if you will, as of October 1st. Leading up to that point, we've had a couple private ways to get in, a couple special ways, side doors, if you will.
Right.
Get in, but as of October 1st, we're going to start to let individuals through the front door.
Okay.
That's the main way to get to it, but we also have a website, Empify.com. We have plenty of information, background information about the community on our website too, which will ultimately direct you to download the app as well. But if you want more information on just things we've done, stats, member numbers, kind of get an idea who our members are, testimonials, all those things are on our website. But the App Store, you can go directly to the app as well and download it and be ready to rock and roll too.
It's the growth for me. Y'all, they got an app. They're official out here. You know what I mean? They are official. So I love to see it. I love to see the growth, and I'm behind it.
Thank you.
I'm behind it.
We know you've been here since day one. We know we got Lauren's support.
Yes, because I was just like, I gotta find my way to get them on a part of my journey, because I grow, I want other people to grow, and I want us all to win. So I'm here for it. So kind of doubling back on something you mentioned on the lack thereof, in my opinion, of financial literacy in the African American community. Why isn't that taught in our community like all the other communities? I have friends of different nationalities, and they have talks, not just, when they turn a certain age. It's like little life lessons throughout their life, and they learn these certain principles and these mindsets from their parents. Why do you think there's an absence of that in the African American community?
To be honest, I think the answer is in what you just said, is that African American is the key word in that sentence. I think our experience in this country has really affected how we operate just on a human level, on a cultural level, because there's a dynamic, and I won't go too deep into this because this is actually really like the stuff that I'm low-key really into.
Right.
Around like the human psychology, understanding like what is really going to spark the change that we all want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to what I've learned so far. It comes down to one particular dynamic, and that is that there's an issue that we have with self-worthiness as a culture and as a community. And that's no fault of our own.
Yeah.
That was somewhat or seemingly systematically destroyed just with the history of our country and like where we came from as a community over the last couple hundred years has really affected how we approach finances today. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of historical events that have happened that I can reference, but there's really, the sentiment is that when you don't feel valuable, you do not do things that create value,
right.
Period. That's the premise. And so I know we all consciously kind of care about ourselves and want the best for ourselves. Mm-hmm. The discussion more so leans on what we subconsciously think and believe. Mm-hmm. That's where the issue is. Some of the things that have been embedded in us subconsciously as a people are I believe, some of the biggest hurdles with how we treat our money. And if you want to get real simple, let's just look at how we spend money, like as far as shopping and some of the discretionary things that we do, the non-essential spending.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can sit here and I won't say lie, but we can sit here and be untruthful and say that we don't buy things for emotional reasons, but we do.
We do.
When you think about that, that is not a given. Like, you won't go everywhere else in the world and see every other type of person in the world and see them be driven to emotionally spend. Mm-hmm. That is something that more than any other community affects African Americans because of emotionally kind of where we're coming from holistically and collectively based on our history in this country. Mm-hmm. We have been attacked and hurt by things that have happened in this country. Mm-hmm. And I'm not to say that all those things have triggered us to go out and go shopping, but more so to say that when we've had these things happen to us, how we view ourselves individually, there's a reason why there's something called retail therapy. Mm-hmm. That just didn't come out of anywhere. There's an idea that you can feel a sense of power and a sense of establishment by knowing that you can go out and buy and possess something using something that you have. Mm-hmm. That is a human level, like human nature thing. And when you get to a point where it's like, all right, I don't feel great about something that's happened, I'm sad, I'm whatever the trigger may have been. And in order to get over that, you kind of venture to, oh, well, whenever I get sad, let me go buy a new pair of shoes. Let me go buy a new outfit. Let me go treat myself so that I can kind of get myself out of this rut. And we found ways to kind of force the joy and pleasure that we seek naturally as people.
Yeah.
But to force it by using our money to try to force that sense of belonging and that sense of establishment as a person that goes directly against some of the things that we know we want as well, as far as generational wealth, which more so comes from saving and investing rather than spending discretionarily. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things within our community that I think kind of eat away or chip away at our ability to build wealth. And I think the education starts not just with what is the stock market, how do I invest? That's not where financial education starts. Mm-hmm. Financial education starts with, oh, I've learned how I treat money when I don't feel good about myself. Mm-hmm. That's financial education. On a human level, it's like you got to learn why you do certain things with your money and get educated on your own relationship with money before you possibly get educated on something technical you can do with your money.
Right.
That's like second base. Mm-hmm. First base is, what is your relationship with money? How do you use money to cope?
Yeah.
How do you use money to feel valuable? Currently, the way that we are, I'll say generally, and I hate to generalize things, but I'll say generally as a community, we are currently in a space where we think we can buy happiness and that we need money to buy happiness, which there is some truth that, yes, money does afford some luxuries that can bring some joy to our lives. However, it's a jaded formula because more than anything, first, we need to be in a space where we understand that having money is more important than spending money. And that's the square we skipped over because we thought that the outwardly use of money is what brings the joy, not establishing what we want to do in the future and establishing the opportunities that we can create for our family members by not spending the money and possibly investing it or saving it in more constructive places. But this is where the dilemma comes. When you see how everything is marketed to us as consumers, and we are programmed and conditioned to think, oh, every commercial is telling me that I'm going to feel so much better if I have this product. And when you're not kind of like centered in who you are, you'll believe what somebody else tells you about who you are. And so that's really where our issue is. So from an educational perspective, financial education perspective, I think one of the things that the Wealth Builder community is really, what our mission really is, educate an individual on how they can change not only their habits, but also learn some of the technical things that will enable you, both of them together. When you have different habits and you know how those different habits can bring you more value, you'll start to do something different. And we believe that just with all the things that we touch on and make certain things relatable, meeting individuals kind of where they are, a lot of issues with some of the financial things that I've come across as far as educational things and other things out there, is just like, oh, here's all this great information, come get it. When really and truly what changes the plight of certain situations is going to where people are and say, okay, where are you right now in your process? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you know already? All right, cool. We're gonna take these things you know and we're gonna build on them in relation to your financial literacy, and just start from where you are instead of saying, hey, here's all this great stuff, come get it, which is how most things have been constructed to this point.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. And to add on to that, I feel like, and this is just my perspective, I feel like when we find that worth that you were referencing, like what we feel our worth is in what we wear, our outward appearance, what we drive, and we see that a lot. We see people who have the nice cars, they have the latest trends, and they have the latest looks. But what does your portfolio look like? Do you know what you are investing? Is that an asset, or is that going to depreciate in value over time when you drive it off the lot? Can you even have this type of conversation with people? So it's more, like you said, it's multiple levels to it. And I don't know if people care or if they just kind of like, this is what makes me happy, like you said, and this is the temporary fix for me to find value and worth in myself. So yeah, I can definitely say it's a tricky situation. So topics like this are really important, and people really like to dive into, the, like you said, the psychology behind the relationship with money. What kind of topics do you cover in Wealth Builders that can help the everyday person beyond just their relationship with money?
And you mean in relation to what's in the platform and like things that we make available?
Yeah, because I know reading books, can open up, books that can have your mind go further.
A book club is one thing. We do have a book club within our community that is actually about to relaunch now that we are on kind of like the app side of our experience, which because we kind of paused it for a slight second just to get some other things going.
Right.
But one of the things people always talk about is like, oh, there's this great book and all the answers are in the book, and which I actually personally kind of agree with. Like everything that I've been able to apply in life and things that really helped me grow as a person, a lot of those things I did find some books, not every, I mean, it's a numerous numbers of books. But I think for us, when I say us, meaning the Black community in particular, we want things yesterday.
Yeah.
We feel as though we've done enough in this country to deserve and be able to access things now. Like, we're in the mindset that we've made a lot of sacrifices, we've endured a lot, and we want things tomorrow. So when you think about, all right, how do you make content that suffices in relation to making sure somebody feels like they're making some immediate strides to what they want, but still in the same token, understanding that this is a long-term journey and it doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
I think some of the things that we've created to really make sure that we respect that, because that's a real thing, is one, not only just having classes or like a book club, but creating challenges, things that we can make this process a fun process, because growth can feel overwhelming sometimes, even though it's for the right reasons. But we have like active challenges in our community, whether it's related to investing, related to saving, related to helping the next person. We've created these challenges where we want to push ourselves to be the change that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we don't think about that as content, but that in fact is definitely something that was created that once it's consumed, changes your behavior. So it's content. It just doesn't come in the normal form that we're all expecting. Like, okay, it has to be a class, or it has to be a podcast, or it has to be something that I get it directly. It could be something that might be marketed to me as actually something fun, a challenge, a competition. But in the process of me competing, I'm doing something that's making me grow as a person. If I'm growing as a person, it probably means that I'm going to make decisions differently. And we're of the mindset, and we've honestly made an assumption that if we can just get you to think about things differently, that's the first step to you doing things differently. And so if it's like, all right, what could we do to make people think about things differently? And sometimes it's not a class, or it's not an audio, or it's not a quote, or it's not a book. It's like, oh, you gave me an opportunity to say, all right, let's have a no spin challenge. And let me see if I can go out today and operate in my day and not spend money today. And that's the challenge. And it's very simple. But what does that do? It does a lot of different things. It's not just about, did I not spend money or not? Now, throughout the day, you are now noticing and thinking about every instance that you normally spend money that you might not have been thinking about before. Mm-hmm. That's caused that curiosity. Is like, where's all my money go? And nobody ever knows. But then you do the no spend challenge and you're thinking about spending money differently because now you're more aware of it. But that wasn't a class and me telling you something. Right. I just literally told you to pay more attention to your day. Yeah. And you learn so much about yourself by paying more attention to your day because we just put it into a competition and a challenge. Mm-hmm. So it's so many different ways that we have to kind of step outside the box and say, all right, how can we spark a different thought? Because there's this formula, and I think this is a huge takeaway. Mm-hmm. And this is how literally, Lauren, and I'm going to tell you how I make all this stuff. Okay. Because I know you watch these classes and stuff too. Mm. So there's this formula that I learned years ago, and I think I learned it from a John Maxwell book, mm-hmm. And he does a lot of leadership type things, where the formula is TFAR. And it's like okay. It's like, what do those letters mean? Right. It's thoughts, feelings, actions, results. And so the one thing that we're always clear on, and this is so interesting to me, as people, what we're always clear on is we know the result that we want. Mm-hmm. We know the outcome that we want, right? Yeah. That's always clear. Mm-hmm. But what's not clear is what are our actions to get there? What are our feelings and thoughts that may have sparked that action? And when you go back to the beginning of this formula, you realize that every single result in my life started from a thought.
Hey y'all, what's up? Liking what you're hearing so far on the LKT podcast? Be sure to follow us on social media at LKT Podcast or You can check out my website at www.lktpodcast.com. Be sure to leave a comment or sign up in the email subscription box, or you can also send me any of your ideas on topics you want to hear in the future. I have a lot in store for you, a lot of things that you want to hear. So don't mind mixing in some good ideas on juicy topics in between there. So be sure to check it out.
And it's like, all right, well, now that we know the formula for every result that could ever be had, and we know it starts with a thought and a feeling that you have first, which then triggers some type of action or lack of action, then let's go back to, all right, let's figure out how we can trigger healthier thoughts, how we can trigger healthier feelings. Healthier thoughts and healthier feelings usually lead to healthier actions, and those healthier actions will probably lead to desired results. And so we know that has nothing to do with finance, right? Right. That's just human nature.
Yes.
Now we put the financial part on that. It's like, all right, what's the financial result we want? Mm-hmm. Oh, we want to make sure our kids don't have to go into debt to go to college. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure we don't have to work all of our life. We want to make sure we can travel and enjoy our lives leisurely and not always be stuck in an office or at a job. Okay, we're clear on the results. Now, let's take a step back. What are the actions? Okay, we know we need to save money. We know we need to invest money. We know we should pay down our debt. We know all the actions too. Mm-hmm. Now, are they feasible for us to do? That's a whole nother question. We can get to that. But we know what the actions are that could possibly lead to those results. So then if we know the actions, then we got to think about, okay, why aren't they happening? And then we get to what are our thoughts and feelings that we're having? They're either keeping us from doing what we know we should be doing. And let's attack how we can change those thoughts and feelings. And so from a standpoint of how we create our content as a wealth builder community, we take that all into consideration and think about that when we create content to say, okay, how is this going to make someone think and feel about their money now after taking this class or reading this download or reading this book? What's the thought and feeling that they're going to have after this? Mm-hmm. Because we could give you all the perfect information in the world. I could tell you every single account that you should have. You will not use them unless your thoughts and feelings that you're having about those results are things that you can now kind of self-correct. At the end of the Ash and I's job at our role, we don't think that we can force anybody to see the results that they want. What we look at ourselves as is guides and ways that you can approach something in an effective, efficient manner, and just giving you everything that we know that you need to get there. However, we also know that there has to be a personal decision that you must make to take all the steps and make the sacrifices to get there. And we want to make sure that those steps and sacrifices feel good to you because we know the results will. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So tell me, through this entire journey from, childhood to college Rob to professional entrepreneur Rob, tell me about some myths you heard about trading stocks that you would like to debunk, either within the community, the Black African-American community, or outside the community. Tell me your favorite myth is just like, what?
I think the one thing that jumps out at me, well, I won't say this is a myth, but I think this is something that is not really known by many people that I want to make sure is clear, is that you don't have to sell a stock to make money from it. Mm-hmm. You can earn an income from simply owning the stock. Because when we think about investing, we always think about, all right, I'm doing this for the financial result, clearly. But it's always, because we were taught this, and this is all we might know, is that, okay, I'm supposed to buy low and sell high. That's the only thought process that really resonates with investing. It's like, buy something cheap and sell it at a high price. Mm-hmm. Which definitely is one of the main premises. But that completely overlooks what a lot of the wealthy do or more affluent do as far as investing, where they invest and own stocks that pay them a passive, consistent income. I think one of the things that is just not as well known in our community is that there's an approach, and a very effective approach, to buying stocks that pay you consistently forever, rather than buying stocks to try to time it and watch the stock market and sell it at the perfect time or buy it at the perfect time. That takes years of training to learn how to do well. It's much more feasible and a little bit more simple to say, oh, well, I would like to invest in AT&T or Comcast or some of these companies that I pay an internet bill or cable bill to every month. And those companies can pay me what's called a dividend, a source of income, just from owning the stock. I don't even have to sell it, and I can still earn money. So I think that's one thing that's big that I don't think is as well known about investing. But then as far as other myths and things that I would love to debunk, it actually is not really around investing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about a couple other things that I think are controversial, but I'll say them now because this is all about getting the message out.
Okay.
And that is, okay, I had to take a deep breath.
Okay.
Credit scores.
Oh yeah, you gonna stir up the pot with this one.
Are not as important as they have been branded to seem.
Right.
And I think that's the safest way to say that.
Right.
Let me explain the perspective I'm speaking on this from, because I'm sure this is going to get a lot of comments and a lot of, when people watch this, and it's going to be controversial. Let me explain this.
Mm-hmm.
This is coming back from my experience in the federal banking space. So for those that don't know how the banking world works, you got your commercial banks, you got your Bank of America's, Wells Fargo's, PNC's, Chase. These are the banks that you and I frequent every single day or use every single day, right?
Right.
Those banks have bank accounts with bigger banks that we don't hear about. Mm-hmm. One of which is the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So what I did, I consulted the Bank of America's, SunTrust, BB&Ts of the world on how to make effective products and services for people that look like us, because those boardrooms don't have many people that look like us.
Okay.
However, my experience in the financial advisory world, they're like, how did you get this portion of the community to want life insurance, to want to invest? Like, we have commercials all day long and these people never come in the front door, but you talk to them and they do it. And they're like, how does it, like, you know something we don't know. We need you to consult us. So I went into the banking world here in Atlanta and doing a lot of work for them. But I traveled all over the Southeast to all these bank headquarters and talked to these executives. And I'm getting back to my point about this credit score thing. Mm-hmm. So we got to understand that the banking industry is a for-profit industry, meaning that they do business to make money. And one of the things that was created that really, really helped the banks make money was to have a system that judged how well someone can make payments on debt. And they created this system, and the system essentially became the credit score system that gave the banking industry an idea on if it was a good idea or not to loan you money. That was why this all was made. However, because cost of living is always going up, wages aren't going up, our society has grown a bigger and bigger and bigger dependency on debt. Whether it's credit cards, student loans, car loans, mortgage. Like, there's almost not many major things that people generally have the ability to buy without credit, without a loan of some sort, without being fronted money. So we've been conditioned and it's been instilled in us that this credit score number is so important. It's on a false premise that, okay, because people don't have money or enough money to buy things cash, they're going to need credit. So let's make sure that credit scores are important. However, let me make something very, very clear to y'all.
Hey y'all, what's up? Liking what you're hearing so far on the LKT podcast? Be sure to follow us on social media at LKT Podcast, or you can check out my website at www.lktpodcast.com. Be sure to leave a comment or sign up in the email subscription box, or you can also send me any of your ideas on topics you want to hear in the future. I have a lot in store for you, a lot of things that you want to hear. So don't mind mixing in some good ideas on juicy topics in between there. So be sure to check it out.
There is not one investment on the face of this earth that requires a credit score. So when you think about the things that are going to help you build wealth, in almost any case, you can start to build wealth and build your financial future regardless of what your credit score is.
Right.
But a lot of times we find ourselves chasing a credit score because we're stuck in this hamster wheel, this cycle that, because I know I'm going to need it to get a new car, to get a house, to get possibly even the job, or certain things that they might check my credit for me to be approved for. If I'm in a space where I know I don't have enough cash and financial resources to buy that thing outright, and I know somebody's decision on my ability to make payment is going to be a factor, I got to have a better credit score. But we look up all our lives and we're chasing the 800, and then we realize, dang, I don't have nothing in my bank account. Like, what's going on?
Right.
and I personally lived it. Like, I remember back in, and I'm kind of dating myself, but back in 2013, right? I had the highest credit score I ever had in my life, like higher than what it is right now, right? It was 782. And at that point, my bank account did not look sexy.
It was skinty.
It was skinny. And I was like, this is me working and being in the financial industry.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold on, this is not making sense. Like, all my life I was told to have a good credit score, but me chasing it, which was paying stuff on time, paying stuff off, doing the things to build a credit score, I realized, like, I did all of that and I don't own shit. What do I own?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have nothing. I don't have no assets. I've just shown somebody I can pay some bills well. So I was like, hold on, let me take a step back, and found a couple mentors. I started talking to people that like multi-millionaire, billionaire people that I luckily had an opportunity to get connected with. From some of like scholastic, like from school, like networks from Howard and Georgetown. And I learned that chasing a credit score is a poor man's game. And however, you look out in the world and everybody's trying to improve their credit. And I was like, yo, am I tripping? Am I missing something? Like, dang, like what's going on out here?
What step did I get skipped?
At that point, I had to recalibrate how I approach my finances and put more priority on acquiring and owning assets, more so than trying to perfect my credit score, which is what a lot of people find themselves trying to do. But when you think about, Lauren, and I want to ask you this question because I really would love your natural answer to this. What can you get with a credit score?
More debt.
That's it.
More debt. That's it.
That's all.
That's been my experience. Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa.
That's been my experience.
I'm like, when you think about it, I'm like, hold on. This is a genius system. Like, I'm not hating, right? Yeah. Whoever made this system, you were a genius.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
But what I realized is that we always complain about that 1%, like the wealthy, the top 1%.
Yeah.
We always complain about where they are and kind of just some of the things that they have and the luxuries they have. But I was like, all right, we can say all those things, but when are we going to start to do what they do?
Yeah.
All those people all the people that are in that group that I know, some of them don't even know what their credit score is. They came from humble beginnings just like me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, you got to a point where you just realized that thing didn't matter no more, and you started to shoot at a different basket. And now this is the challenge that I think we're not just me and the Wealth Builder community, but you included and everybody that looks like us. The challenge is now to recalibrate how we mentally approach finance. And I know we have debt to manage and pay off. And there's some things that might be happening right now in our lives that we do need a credit score for, because we're kind of in the midst of certain things and preparing for certain things, that that's understandable. But big picture, holistically, we should all be working to get to a point where that's not driving our decisions as far as, all right, what is this going to do to my credit? Like, there's things that I know hurt my credit, but I did it because that was actually one mini step in the process of getting an asset, like that would pay me no matter if I got out the bed or not.
Right.
Nobody sends you a check just because you got an 800 credit score. Let me let y'all know. And if they do send you a check, they're going to want that money back because it's a loan. It's like, oh, I realized like most of the people that I know, they're trying to find out how to use resources to acquire assets, not use their resources to improve esoteric imaginary number that you've been assigned, which is only grading how well you pay bills.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you how good you are in business. It doesn't tell you how good of a person you are. It doesn't tell you it doesn't judge your talent. It doesn't judge God's gifts that he gave you. That number only judges how well you can make a payment.
Yep.
And yet a lot of us are centered on, my number one priority, I just want to improve my credit. And it's like, that's not your fault for thinking that. It's just that someone didn't, along the way, expose you to what's really going to help you win out here, which is why we created a Wealth Builder Community.
Right, yeah. I mean, that was my experience, because even as far as, my friends back in college, they had this brand new shiny, credit card, and, it had $5,000 to an 18-year-old. That's everything. They swiped it up and paid it off all throughout their 20s, because it was, as we know, that those store credit cards are vicious.
Yeah.
The interest rates on those things are crazy. So,
right.
To me, I just see a good credit score, or when they send you those credit card, you're approved for this. All I see is, can I give you some more debt? I want you to continue paying me more. You've paid down this credit card. Your credit score is high now. Let me find out ways so you can continue paying me, because you paid this off a little too fast. So yeah, I agree. I feel like that's a good myth to debunk. That was
you notice that too. Like,
yeah,
your credit score goes down when you pay something off.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that. And it's like, hold on, time out.
Why are you penalizing me?
Think about that. Is that you got penalized for no longer having something to pay off. When in actuality, the goal is not to be indebted to anything.
Yes.
And yeah, it might go down a little bit and then go up, but just the notion that there's one less thing that we can track for you to know your ability to pay stuff off. When you pay something off, let's just say you have 4 things on your credit and you pay one off and now you got 3. To them, it's like, we have one less thing to judge this person on. To us, it's like, we got one less bill, hip hip hooray. But the system itself, the credit system itself, is just created to benefit banks and how they make decisions on lending you money. And this is the kicker. I don't want to burst any bubbles.
Yeah.
But United States of America is the only country that has a credit system. So it's like, whoa. Like you get outside of the country and you go to different places and you travel and you meet people and you start to realize, I'm just a part of this American game that really is
Nobody
not
else is
a
playing.
scoreboard. Yeah, it's not a scoreboard that anybody else follows.
Yeah.
So it's just so many things that you won't learn until you get exposed to. But once you do, it's like, all right, now that I know this, how do I change? What do I do differently? And that's where we come in.
Wow. So, I feel like you have all of this wealth of information, either from life experiences or, past jobs, or, as you told me recently, reading. Share with us something that you read or listened to recently that has inspired you.
So I'll wait for this question.
Okay.
There's a book and I'm on my third or fourth time reading it because it's just that good.
Okay.
There's a book called Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, older African-American gentleman. In this book, I'm gonna tell you, I don't say this about a lot of things, and I read a lot and I just come across a lot. I believe that this is a flawless book. There's no flaws in the theme of this book, which is centered around the 5 different things that either need to be done differently or have to be different for the African-American community, Black America, if you will, to improve where we are in this country. And it breaks down the economic side of it, the political part, the policing, the judicial system, all the things that really would change the plight of our experience in this country. And he starts it, and the foundational thing to everything working is where we are economically. If we cannot generate economies for ourselves, no laws change, no policing changes, politics don't change. None of those things change unless our economies and our financial well-being and state change. And so he explains this in this book holistically, like everything that you would think about as far as how everything works together, what controls what, where we got to start at. And it's just a very thorough plan that's just laid out. Now, this is the wild part about this book. Like, I found this book years ago and was reading it, and I literally, it's almost like something I kind of live by, as far as trying to make these things in a book a reality. And interestingly enough, and I know that he's not on everybody's fan list right now. Interestingly enough, recently, Kanye referenced this book talking to a couple different people. He was talking to Nick Cannon. Everybody knows what happened to Nick Cannon recently, right, with what he said about the Jewish community. But then after that, Kanye West and Nick Cannon had a conversation, and Kanye West referenced it, and also referenced that there's a couple politicians, current politicians, that have been reviewing and reading this book as well. Mm-hmm. And I found that very interesting, being that those politicians that he referenced were Caucasian, they were white American. And they were reading this book, trying to see what the solutions were that Dr. Claude Anderson had kind of outlined that make a lot of sense and that could and would work. And in this book, though, now that I've given you a background and I probably helped Dr. Anderson sell a couple books from explaining that just now. Okay. The thing that I've gotten from it, though, is what modern day group economics could really look like. As a community, we talk about it. We talk about boycotting certain businesses. We talk about buying Black. We touch on group economics in a lot of different ways. We might not label it as group economics, but there's a lot of different things that we're suggesting to ourselves as a community to do. One of the things that I've taken away and I really love is the idea that you can have a collective revolution that's lived individually. And I think it's very important that it was put like that, because we all collectively want better for the African American and just generally Black people in America. We want better collectively, but we also understand that we do live this life individually and we make individual decisions. And so one of the things he highlighted was how to go about executing group economic strategies that still allow us to operate individually as we normally do in America, but still give us a sense of collectiveness that we do need as an African-American community for some of the general rights that we need as a people. Right. But still, at the end of the day, we all know we have our individual liberties as well. And in the book, he just talked about modern day, what group economics looks like. Because right now, to be honest, it's not feasible for us to do a boycott like the boycott that followed Rosa Parks not moving from her seat. Black people didn't ride a bus for a year. Yeah. People don't know that. For us in today's time, and the dependence that a lot of us have on public transportation that don't have a car or can't afford a car, just have a low-wage job.
Right.
Boycotting the public transportation system for a year is just not feasible and possible in today's world. But okay, if that's the case, how do we still have some collective power on something like that, even though we know the individual demands of life might not give us that flexibility? And so that's some of the things he touched on in the book. I'm rereading it right now for I think this is the fourth time I read it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I read it, I get something new from it. And I think it's a very important book for everybody to read and just kind of digest, because he just talks about all the things that affect our lives as Black people in America. That's just one of the things I think that we all should, at least, if you don't read the whole book, check out some of his videos on YouTube with him explaining principles that he put into the book. If you just want to watch the video, because I know sometimes you don't want to read, you would rather watch the video, listen to an audio. He has a lot of great videos on YouTube talking about his books, not just that one, but all the other ones too.
Wow, I'm definitely going to check that out. Did you suggest that on the Wealth Builders, or you?
Yeah, so I've been saving that one.
Oh, okay, because I was like, I don't think I've heard
we've
about
gone
that
through
one.
a lot of books.
Okay.
And I was like, we're not really ready to read this yet.
Okay.
As a community until we get into the app. Because I really wanted some interactive sessions and things that go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
As you remember, kind of back in the previous world, and I won't say the name of that business, but back in our previous world, we just didn't have all the flexibility and bells and whistles that we have now.
Yeah.
And so when we put the book club on pause, one of the books, I was like, when we bring this book club back, one of the first books we got to do is this book.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely is on the way.
Oh, okay, I'm excited. I'm going to put that in the Amazon cart now.
Yeah, do that. And hold on, I actually have it with me if you want to see what it looks like.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just realized I took the cover off of it so I didn't mess the cover up when I was traveling, but anybody can see that. It says, it might be a glare. Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America. That's the subtitle.
Okay.
But yeah, it's written by Claude Anderson. I wish I had the cover on it so you can see the cover.
Yeah.
I took the cover off. However, great book. It's not that long. It's worth the read. It's about 200 pages.
Okay.
So, good read.
Definitely gonna check that out. Okay, so how can my listeners connect with you online, Rob? You have all this information. Somebody's gonna want to shoot you an email. Somebody may even want to set up a personal, one-on-one consultation with you to kind of jumpstart them to the Wealth Builders app. How can we reach you?
So, there's a couple different ways. You can reach me on all social media platforms at THE, Rob Boyd, just my name spelled out, ROBBOYD. That's Twitter, Instagram, my Facebook page. Those are the main platforms I'm on. You can also find me on LinkedIn, just Rob Boyd on LinkedIn. And other than that, I'm spending most of my time in my day in the app, just talking to people and talking about either classes we've done or replays, answering questions, making sure everybody's just aware of things they need to know. And so outside of those social media platforms, if anybody wants to really get in touch with me and talk to me all day, every day, being in the community, being in the app is the best way to do that. But yeah, those are the ways you can reach out to me. And also, again, you can email me. I know a lot of times people love to email and connect that way. And it's Rob, R-O-B, at Empify, EMPIFY.com. And you can get a hold of me via email that way as well.
Amazing. Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your beautiful Saturday to come on in Low Key Thriving and share with us some of your wisdom and insight. And I am so grateful for you. So thank you. Hopefully we can have you on again and speak with you again and share more knowledge with the growth of Wealth Builders.
For sure.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Low Key Thriving podcast. Be sure to check back for more episodes on things you love. Also, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at LKT Podcast. Again, that's LKT Podcast. All right. See you later.